Good morning, you all.
Good morning, sir.
Today I am going to talk about another poem. Uh, it's Malaysian poem. Malaysia is our neighboring country. You know that. We are very close. Uh, Not only geographically, we are culturally also somehow new. And nowadays, Malaysia is moving to a developed country. Because of this also, young people, youngster, they are going to Malaysia for job. They have seen, they have learned even Malaysian culture and Malaysian language. You can see the cultural dance on top of this slide, and traditional styles of architecture house below is a unit number 47. Title is do not say, do not say. So when we talk about culture, you can see conflict between Eastern culture and Western culture. And we were talking about, and we are talking about colonization also, European American colonization in the eastern part. And because of this also, what is happening? We are gradually, we Eastern people are gradually forgetting, leaving our culture and tradition. And this poem also talks about colonized nature or nature of colonizer in our culture, our language, in our belief. This is the main uh, issue, main theme expressed by the poet, the writer over here. You can see some expression from Malaysian language. So, how are you is there? You can say welcome, selamat datang, welcome, right? Hello is there. There are so many expression. Good morning, selamat pagi, right? This expression I have just uh, downloaded from internet. Certain kind of linguistic understanding, though we don't need this. And in this poem also, the poet has used some Malaysian expression. That's why I downloaded this from internet. And it's here you can see culture. And when they greet other, right, they put their right hand on top of their left chest. See, the ladies, they are greeting. They are greeting other, right? Maybe good morning, good afternoon, right? We don't know everything, but it might be good morning, right? They are wishing. So, again, about the author, he is the best known bilingual poet using two languages, English also, maybe Malaysian also, right? Muhammad Haji Saleh. He was born in 26 March 1942 in the village called Temerlock, Trong in British Malaya. You know that Malaysia was also colonized. That's why British Malaya is there. I think so. Burn, as I said earlier, many books you can see here. He wrote Award, SEA, Write Award, Malaysia, and there are some books also. So he was one of the best writer, bilingual writer, poet of Malaysia. So Malaysia means, as I said earlier also, those who write will write their own feeling, own pen, own pleasure in the writing. So Muhammad Haji Saleh also, he wrote his feeling. He wrote about his culture, his tradition. He loved it this. So this issue is here. As I said earlier, you can see in the picture as well. What is the theme? It is a post-colonial literature. Post-colonial means after colonization, or when colonizer left their, you can say both of that, or what were the, or what are the effect of colonization. What happened? For example, you can see the impact of British in India, because Malaysia is a little bit far from us. So we can talk about India. British influence in India. Even we are influenced, we were influenced in the past as well. So you can see the condition when some countries are colonized. So it's a questions of ideology and identity. Always when any country is colonized, then colonizer will always try to influence on the culture, tradition, and other type of living style, even politically, economically, and for many ways. So this poem also carries a sense of ideology, and the permanent resident, they feel losing their identity. But nowadays, what is happening? When we wear tie suit, when we speak English or something like this, what do we feel? We feel we are civilized, we are modern, we are postmodern, but that concept is wrong. Losing our culture. For example, we celebrate Valentine Day, Christmas Day, and many other Western culture. But we feel humiliation to celebrate Dasai, Tihar, Mage Sankranti, and other. We feel humiliation to wear our daura, surual, sari, cholo, etc. That means we are not proud of our identity. Our language, our culture, our festival, these are typical example of our identity. But Westerner, they brainwash us, and because of their attitude, that individual, that so-called civilization, made us losing our identity. So this poem carries mainly two themes. We can say same, only one theme also, ideology and identity. Ideology is belief. We are taught Western belief, as I said earlier, celebrating Christmas makes us modern, celebrating Valentine Day makes us somehow civilized, speaking English makes us civilized. These type of wrong belief made us handicapped culturally. It means we are leaving our identity. Originality, that is organic nature, is our identity, right? It doesn't make us uncivilized. It doesn't make us barbaric, and it doesn't make us backward. And next sub-theme mentioned in this poem is colonizer versus colonized. The as I said earlier also, colonizer they feel superior and colonized they feel inferior, like master and slave. And next thing what you can say over here is domination or exposing ideology is a means to support or means to control the colonized, right? As I said in my last lecture as well, through language, through culture, for example, through costume, right? These are slow poison. And through this, what is done? Peoples are colonized, suppressed. That means. So in this poem, Do Not Say uses and abuses colonizer imagery. Here, both concept of colonizer and concept of colonize are mentioned using imagery. And this poem also depicts the anger toward colonial oppression and loves or asserts the value of local culture. You can say value of national literature. This is the main theme of this poem. Let's see words using this poem. Some words, these are typical word of Malaysia, Malaysian language. It's not English. Ladong, non-irrigated farming. Ladong, maybe pronunciation can't be correct, right? We don't know Malaysian language, that's why. Ronggeng and Dongdang. These are local music like Lokgit in our country. Sajak and Pantam, local verse. You can say like a Muktak or something like that, right? Or we have Lokgit also. These are Sire use this. Sire means Kavi, right? Sajak and Pantam. For example, we have Bhajan also, right? Maybe these are local such type of verse. Verse means poet as a poetic form of some expression. Bang Shuang and Epic Shire. These are opera. Operas are especially, opera song, right? Some sort of acting and song also. You can see in our culture also, right? Wangsang and Epic Shire. I think in western part of Nepal there are some sort of music. They are performed with dancing also, right? So you can compare with this opera. And the kiris means you can say chaku, dragger. These are term, and these are used to show local identity. And I have written one more there on the bottom of the slide. Shanket. Shanket can say this is a hand woven cloth with gold or silver. What we call like the dress also, right? You can see in the picture people are wearing, right? Golden in golden and silver in color. It is somehow similar to khadi, but our khadi is not golden and silver. But this is golden and silver. Sanket. There are some other also. Let's see. Poem. Don't say my people are lazy because you don't know. Here the poet is addressing colonizer. Colonizer means Western colonizer, Western people, politician who are there in Malaysia, right? So here is imperative tone also, imperative language. Say, my people are lazy. People of Malaysia are not lazy, this means. Don't say lazy to them because you don't know. You don't know. Means the foreigner cannot understand everything of local people, or the colonizer may not know everything of the colonized, their lifestyle, their sentiment, right? Their hard work, their trouble, their pain, etc. You are only a critic or onlooker. You are only visitor. We are living here for 100 years, 1,000 years, but you just approach here, just came here. That's why you are only a critic onlooker. Criticize, for example, Westerner, they always criticize us, saying we are uncivilized, barbaric, backward, and so on. To critic onlooker, you can't know or judge passing the kampong in your car, right? They come here, come in kampong city, kampong village is a place of name of place, and traveling in car doesn't help you to judge Malaysia, Malaysian culture, Malaysian people, their sentiment, feeling, etc. So you can't know or judge passing the kampong in your car. starting at the economic data, starting and looking economic data. For example, you can see, you can hear, for example, as I said earlier also, around 50,000 people will die. It is only data. It can be true or it can't be, right? That's why data only. You can see Nepal is one of such country, right, where world's happiest people live. Can you imagine? So data only doesn't tell us everything. So you can say, looking at data, figure, and so many other things, you can't evaluate Malaysian people. Do not think my people are weak because they are gentle, right? Being gentle is one thing, and being weak is another thing. We are strong, we are not weak, but we are kind. The writer is saying Malaysian people are kind because they don't build skyscraper, right? Having very big building, very big house doesn't make us strong, rich, and so many other things. The poet says that have skyscraper means big buildings. Malaysian people may not have big buildings. Doesn't mean they are weak. They are gentle, they are kind, they are traditional, they are civilized traditionally. He says, the next stanza, have you ever walked in Ladakh? We have talked about Ladakh is a field, right? Have you ever walked in Ladakh? We know Melapat in our country also, right? Or dance in Rangeng, right? Rangeng means, as I said earlier, right? What is Rangeng? What is Rangeng? Is a
Local music.
dancing, couple dancing. We in our field also we dance and sing. You might have heard about uh, uh, what we commonly invite the musicians also, right? Damai and what do you call that in your language? हामी खेतीबारीमा गर्छौँ नि, मान्छेहरूलाई बोलाएर दमाईहरूलाई बोलाउने, कानी मासु खानिदिने, त्यसलाई के भन्छ हामी त्यतातिर? बेठी लाउने भन्छौँ हामी चाहिँ, राइट? डान्स, हेभ यु एभर डान्स रङ्गेङ? हाम्रोमा जसैको असारे गीत गाउने चलन पनि हुन्छ, यु नो द्याट, राइट? They somehow dance also, and typical dancing is not there, but singing is there with work, right? So have you ever walked in Ladakh or dance in Rangeng, right? Have you ever danced? It's a local dancing style with music. Can you sing Dong Dang Sing, right? Is a music, right? Malaysian music. Can you sing that song? That type of song? He says, do not think that we have only music, right? For example, we have Lokgit in our country. It has hundreds and hundreds years of history, right? That history means civilization. So the poet here is also saying we have traditional dance. We have traditional way of working in the field. For example, Diki, Jatu, these all are machine, and they were developed over hundreds and hundreds years of practice in our society. That is also civilization. That is also invention. So what does he say? Do not think that we have only music because we love life, right? People, you can see people in the village, when they go to collect food for animal, they sing song. When they plant paddy crops, they sing, they dance. This means they have different life. They enjoy their life working in the field, even traditionally. So we love life. That is life. For example, you know that we are degree holder. We are not so much happier than those people who are working in the village, even for other. The life in village is happier than in the town. Not only that, they are living in harmony with nature, but we are living artificially. In Kathmandu, we have big building here, we have vehicles, for example, we earn a lot of money. Even after that, we are not living our life. That means what? This material prosperity, this town life, these things cannot provide us happiness. Our life is artificial, that means. So we love life. The people of Malaysia, the local people of Malaysia who are living traditionally, working in the field, singing, dancing, right? They have beautiful life, he says. Do not write that we have no literature or culture. Have you ever listened to the Shajak or Panton? Stayed a night at Bangswang, right? We have talked about this. For example, as I said earlier, in Rodighar, for example, it has long history of literature. And for example, Bhajan Kirtan also, there is a people, what do you call that in Nepali? People, they sing also, right? Reciting traditional verses, religious verses also. So Sajaka and Pantan means here simply Sayari and Ghazal, right? Or Giti Natak, you can say, at Bangswang, that cultural occasion, right? Bangswang means is an opera at Bangswang. Have you ever done that? I talk about Rodighar, you can compare this with Rodighar, right? Sajak and Pantans are music, right? And this Ghar can be, right? And somehow they live in that sort of place and stay night and night over and days, right? And they sing, right? Have you read the epic Sire? Sire, you know, Sire means also copy, right? This is big. Books also, you can say epic book, right? Thick theological book, or the theological thesis, theological related to religion. We have Gita, Mahabharata, right? Ramayana, etc. So maybe these are similar to this, is saying. Have you ever read that? But the previous one, Sajak and Panton, right? They are not in written form. For example, some Balan Bhojan you might have heard. Have you heard Balan Bhojan? सुनेको छ? हाम्रो बालन भोजनमा गाउने गीतहरू चाहिँ मान्छेले त्यो लिखित फर्ममा प्रायः जसो हुँदैन थियो अनि हाम्रो त्यो के अरे रोदी घरमा गाउने गीतहरू पनि लिखित फर्ममा हुँदैन दिनै दुई तीन रात मान्छेहरूले पहिलाको कुरा अहिले त त्यति चलनमा छैन हामी अलि आर्टिफिसियली गाउँछौँ त्यसरी रोदी घरमा बसेर गाउने चलन हुन्थ्यो अरे राइट बट दिस epic sire they are in written form for example as I said Ramayana Mahabharata right these are theological books. So the poet is asking Westerner, colonizer to read these books. How many times have you wondered about history in the blade and ancestry in the middle of Aries, right? Or felt the patterns of Sanket? Have you lived in a kampong, right? He's asking to go through the history in blade, right? You know, blade means an ancestor in the middle of Aries. We have history of Khukuri. Similarly, these are traditional weapon of Malaysia. Ancestry in the middle of Keris. Keris, I said, knife or Khukuri like kind of thing, you can say. Or felt the patterns of Sanket, right? I was talking about Khadi. Khadi was traditional cloth in our country, which was made in every house. Similarly, Sanket is type of cloth made in Malaysia, like our Khadi. So he's asking, the poet is asking, colonizer, don't think we are civilized. We have our own war history. We were brave and we are brave still, he says. And we have our own garment, our own clothes like Sanket, right? And with these things, try to live in kampong, this village, and you will know how we live, how we lived also, how we are living also, he says. So in next stanza, let's go. Don't condemn us as a poor. Again, condemn means criticize. Do not criticize us as poor. We are not poor because we have very few banks, right? Only banks, as I said earlier, only banks do not make us somehow prosperous, somehow rich, he says. See, here the richness of our people, the brimful heart that do not grab or grapple. Brimful heart full of love here means we are generous. We are not greedy to grab and grapple, right? Greedy people, they grab many things from other. They grab others' thing, others' property, others' happiness, he says. We are rich because our heart is generous. We are generous. So richness of our people, the brimful heart means our heart is full of love, he says, because we are not greedy. We don't have bank means we don't have money. We don't have lot of money, but we are not poor from our heart, he says. We collect humanity from sun and the rain and the man, transcending the business and the money, right? Sun and rain, these two are generous. It doesn't discriminate place, doesn't discriminate people. It equally provides its generosity to the people. So human, the man from Malaysia, they learn the lesson from sun and rain. And transcend means go beyond the humanity of businessman and a money-minded man. They are greedy. They always want to take advantages from other, he says. So what does he say? Be generous like sun and rain, because they do not discriminate people and place and animal and plant. Everywhere they equally sour, they equally spoil, and each and every animal place can get benefit from them. That's why people of Malaysia, they go beyond the humanity developed in Western society. They are not money minded. They are not business oriented, he says. This is the last stanza. So do not tell us how to live, right? We are not civilized according to colonizer, but he says they are colonized, they are civilized. Malaysian are civilized. So do not tease them. Living means having certain civilization. We have different civilization and Western people have different civilization. So the poet says, do not tell us how to live. We are also civilized. We have also our tradition, culture, way of life and everything, he says. Or organize such nice association and bodies. So, and Western peoples are asking to register some sort of organization or that sort of bodies and so on. But Wade says, our society was an entity before the advent of political philosophy. We have ancient philosophy. We have our own organization, even though it is not registered in government offices, government bodies. We have that type of society or that sort of organization, he says. Did you get my point here? Western peoples are asking to make different NGO, INGO, and so many that kind of organization for the betterment of society. But the poet is saying that they have already such organization. They are embedded in their society. They are there in the society. Although it is not formal, but it is there. And the organization in Malaysia are older than new political philosophy in the West, he says. So don't say because you don't know, right? You don't know. That's why do not criticize. We are uncivilized, we are poor, we are weak, we are helpless, we are not organized, etc. We have everything, but you don't know because you are new, or not because you haven't studied well, you haven't left. This is the poem and my interpretation. You can interpret through another angle as well. Let's see analysis, some sort of thing, as I said earlier also. So in this poem you can see words such as lazy, weak, have no literature, culture, and poor. because the poet is protesting against colonizer. Colonizer means Western people here. And as I said earlier also, Western people who were colonizer in the past, they believe that Eastern peoples are lazy. They are weak, they don't have literature, they don't have culture, or they are orthodox, or they are very poor, they are uncivilized. These are the tags labeled by Western people. But in fact, we are living a happier life. We are rich in culture and tradition. We are hardworking. We have music, song, literature, other form of literature, etc. But the onlooker who come for just few, or who came just few years back, could not understand everything, because everything's are intact with our lifestyle, embedded in our life. That's why superficially those things cannot be seen, the poet says. And in this analysis also, similar thing, look at here, as a reaction of the fabricated reality, that is hyper reality, the persona means person who speaks in the poem explicitly or implicitly, constantly repeat the fact that colonizer as onlooker and outsider. They're outsider and can't know the actual situation of the colonized. For example, if you are dominated by other, suppressed by other, right? The suppressor, dominators, those person who dominate you, right? They can't understand your pain, your difficulties, your hardship, and so on. That's why this is hyper reality, right? They don't know. Simply, that's beyond imagination. The poets says this thing. So I have made some conclusion here. You know the idea. There are two ideas, as I mentioned earlier also. The problem of colonized person because of colonizer influence, or you can say is a matter of ideology and identity. Simply remember that ideology means here the poet or the society of poet is somehow suppressed by or exposed by Western ideology or belief. And but the poet, poet and his fellow villager of Malaysia, they are protesting, विरोध गर्न that, right? Against that ideology and searching for identity. Right now, अहिले हामी गुन्द्रुक खान मन पराउँछौँ, हरेक बिहा बटुल भयो भने सारी चुलो लाउने, दौरा सुरुवाल लाउने, ढाका टोपी लाउने अथवा भातगौँले टोपी लाउने चलन चलेको छ. We are running after what? Our identity, right? Wearing short pant, suit, right? And many other Western uh, thing, dresses. That is not our identity. We have realized that. Or Heru, Gundruk, and local kukra. Where do we go? We go to restaurant nowadays, and even we go to cottage nowadays. And moreover, even we go further. That means the restaurants, not restaurants at all, resorts. We go there because resorts are in jungle like thing, a place, right? That is the reason. So see here, conclusion, the Salah's poem is an important example of how ideology shape identity. See, when we enjoy Christmas, when we enjoy any Valentine Day kinds of festivals, right? We are losing our identity because we are running after what? Sword, pant, English language, and so many other things. So because of Western ideology, ideology is belief, and it brainwash our identity. That's why that thing should be stopped. Western ideology should be learned, right? But should not be followed. We have for our identity. If you want to preserve, if you want to promote your identity, that means. So colonizer had reduced the colonized to the position of denominator with derogatory adjectives. For example, poor, backward, uncivilized, barbaric, etc. Right? They are denominator. And derogatory adjective means bads, you can say simply. Inferior adjectives, poor, weak, right? For example, uncivilized, for example, barbaric, for example. They call us, right? So, therefore, let me see here the last sentence. Salah in the poem, in a Gramsci's way, consent to guarantee colonial hegemony rather than to react against it, which may clarify the question related to ideology and identity. Generally, what is done when some countries are colonized? They go to their country, they control politically, and they use software, means ideology. For example, in Hindu ideology also, you can see something wrong when we talk about male and female. महिलाले यस्तो गर्नुपर्छ, पुरुषले यस्तो गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने जुन बिलिफ हुन्छ, बिलिफ नै जातको, for example, you can see caste, upper caste and lower caste. These are called ideology. It means Westerner came to the East and they taught the people, they brainwashed the people through what? Saying to wear short pants, to celebrate Christmas, Valentine Day, using English language. These things make them civilized. So our people at the time, they were uneducated formally. They were educated traditionally, but formally they were not educated. They believed them. Then what happened? We gradually lost our culture, tradition, way of living, and social harmony, many things. And we began to believe Western belief. That is the thing here. First of all, they come here and they consent. Consent means swikriti, right? And gradually they spoil our society, traditional belief, and so many other type of way of living. So in this poem also, the poem is simply protest against Western ideology and search for identity. When we leave our culture, tradition, there won't be anything organic, and that means we lose our identity, our ownness. So in this poem also, Saleha is protesting, he is striving for his identity and protesting against ideology, Western ideology. This is the wholesome summary. If you have any question, you can see here. Historical city. You can see some Malaysian cultural photos, right? Photos related to culture. I've taken this from internet. So now I would like to say Selamat tinggal. That means bye bye. I learned from internet this thing. Right? If you have anything, please let.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, question चाहिँ एउटा